Hey friends, Amanda here, Bare Bones Living. Welcome back to my bee yard. I thought I'd give you guys a little update on what's been going on with my bees. The last time I showed you these was in June, and I was preparing them for dearth, and I said I wasn't going to go back in them, and that was not true. Well, we were preparing for dearth, but I did go back in them a couple of times. And if you'll notice here, this short one here with the two, that's my original hive that you guys saw me set up. And then this bigger one here is the second one. And you might be questioning why there's such a disparity in the size. And that is because this first hive here has gone through 3 queens since I've had them. Whereas this one here has remained with the same queen and has gone gangbusters and is doing excellent, and I'm very happy with them. And then they're also smaller currently because I took off honey supers in the medium boxes here. There was 2 honey supers on this first hive and 3 honey supers on this bigger hive here, and I took those off in order to treat them for varroa mites. And I did the treatments on them, and when I went in to do the treatments on them, I found that the first hive was again without a queen, and I condensed them down, took off their honey supers, treated them, and they had queen cells in there, trying to make a new queen so that they would have a queen. But we are late in the season, and I'll get back to that in a second. I treated this one as well, and this one is doing so well that I actually created a nuke off of this hive. And a nuke is that package, that 5-frame small box that I brought these bees home in. I created another nuke. So I set up a whole nother bench here, and I had a nuke set up, and I created another hive. And I thought that I was going to be able to have 3 hives. And in that nuke, it had frames that had eggs, and they created a queen out of that. So I had 3 hives. But with this hive struggling, and with it being so late in the season, instead of trying to find a new queen and get her mated at this time of the year when hives are kicking out their drones, it's just not good timing. So what I did, you might notice that there's paper hanging out of this first hive. And the smaller box is on the bottom, and this deep box is typically called a brood box. That's usually on the bottom of the hive. But what I did is I took all the existing bees that were in this hive and I condensed them down into that middle or medium box, and I put it on the bottom. Then I put paper on top, and I moved my nuke hive frames, took them out of the nuke hive and put them into this deep box here. And then I added back in some empty deep frames, and that has the queen. The queen from the nuke hive is in this deep box on the top. And the reason I put that paper in between, because bees have a very good sense of smell, and that's how they communicate. And that queen sends off a scent that all of her bees get used to and protect. And then these bees don't know that scent or the scent of those other bees. So there could be some issues combining 2 hives. So this paper gave them, the bees will eat through that paper, and in the time it takes them to punch through that paper, they've gotten used to that scent. They want a queen, and they smell a queen. And so hopefully by doing this, it gave them enough time to get used to that scent where they wouldn't attack her when they saw her or the other bees. So that is what I'm here to do today, is to look into this box, see my queen, see if they've punched holes through that paper. If they have, I'm going to remove it, and hopefully they'll just go gangbusters and be a happy hive. So let's see how it goes. There is not a whole lot of activity out front, which is both good and bad. That means there's not a huge ruckus in there. I still see workers coming in and out, which is a good sign. It was very deceiving when I took all the bees and condensed them down into this medium box. There weren't actually that many bees in this whole hive. They all fit in that medium very easily. So I'm going to get in there and see what I find. There she is. She's right here in the middle of the frame here. That's awesome. Looks like she's walking around looking for a place to lay. My camera overheated, so I'm gonna see if I can do this on my phone. You can see here that they've eaten through the paper, which is awesome. We put this little screen in there so they could smell and possibly get through here too, which it looks like they did around the edges. I'm gonna just take this off. Well, I'm happy with how this seems to have gone. I believe that there should be no issue with combining the two hives at this point, since they have gained entry to one another, and everything seems very calm in there. The queen is laying and is in there. They haven't attacked her, which is good. I am in the middle of still treating this big hive. I treated this hive once, and I was in the process of treating the nuke when we combined them. So I'm gonna have to retest them to see if they need another treatment. But this big hive, what I call hive B, is in the process of their second treatment because there's so many more of them. So I think they have a couple more days left on that treatment, and then I will retest them as well. And while I no longer have 3 hives, I feel better about combining the two going into fall and winter. I'd rather have 2 strong hives than a strong hive and 2 weak hives. Weak hives don't make it out of the winter usually. Also, when I'm done with treatments, I will be putting the honey supers back on these hives so that they can collect whatever nectar and pollen from the fall, and that they will have honey to keep them sustained throughout the winter. And I already have a bench for future bees for next season. So I think this was a great learning experience. I think my original queen just was not what the bees wanted. She must have had some bad genes, and all the bees that the queens that they kept making still had her genes in them or something, and they just killed them all off. I'm hoping now that making this new queen out of the genes from the queen in hive B will make up for what they didn't have before, and they will accept this queen, but we will keep an eye on it. And here's to hoping that we just keep growing my awesome little apiary.
Thank you guys for stopping by today and joining in on our journey here at Bare Bones Living. We'll catch you on the next one.